This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi.
Donna Adelson, everybody's favorite mother figure.
Crazy grandma.
I just like mother figure. It's a weird way of thinking of Donna Adelson, but she was to some for quite a bit of time. Well, she's back in action, firing off another motion to keep certain elements, evidence out of her upcoming trial. This time, they're aiming to block the divorce records of her daughter, Wendi Adelson, and her slain former son-in-law, Dan Markel. According to Donna's attorneys, these documents, stacked over 560 pages deep, have absolutely nothing to do with her or any alleged involvement in a conspiracy to murder Markel. What do you think's in there?
I don't know, but I got to thinking, what a... what's the word I'm looking for? The exposure of what happens in your marriage and a divorce, to have that, coming out during a trial, and not a divorce trial of any sort. That would just be a lot to deal with. Divorce is hard enough, but then throw that in the mix, and we're just going to air your dirty laundry. Oh God. Can't imagine.
It'll tell us a lot about Wendi. Which will be interesting. But I think, the only reason, there's two reasons you may want to exclude it. Just out of sheer privacy of Wendi. She's never been charged with anything. And it is her life, too, that's there. And if she truly did have nothing to do with it, then that doesn't and shouldn't be public. But if there are things in that document, that 500 whatever pages they have of this, my God, there might be depositions or something in there, or something talking about the relationship between Donna and Dan. And there could be some not so great things in there that may look incriminating of just not having a good relationship, if that be the case.
Well, they got divorced. I would assume they don't have a good relationship, right?
I would think. I don't know. Sometimes people get divorced and, the in-laws are, you're okay with them. It just kind of depends. But, the fact that they were thinking of going all the way, or they did go all the way, at least Charlie's been convicted of, murdering him, makes you wonder what's in those documents. What were some of the things that were brought into that?
And the custody dispute's going to be the big thing, I would think. And what revolved around that, how much was Donna involved in that?
And
was she? Yeah. Was she involved in it?
That's what I'm wondering about. Are we going to see a lot in there of Dan, saying how much Donna's been trying to interfere in the relationship and control the kids and control the family, that sort of stuff? Maybe. I don't know. That's just a thought of what could be in there, and a good reason why you would not want that to be out there. Or again, it could just be, there's nothing in here. We don't need to, display Wendy's dirty laundry. But if there's something in there, it needs to be in there. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. Ugh.
Dan Markel and Wendi Adelson's divorce wasn't just some routine paperwork shuffle. Markel filed for divorce in September of 2012, and then things got tense when Wendi moved their children while Markel was out of town, a move that later backfired when her legal attempts to permanently relocate them were denied. About a year later, the divorce was finalized, but custody issues continued to simmer beneath the surface. And you can't just move your kids out of town and not tell anybody, especially if he's a good guy, which by all accounts he was.
Yeah.
He wasn't abusive. He wasn't a horrible person. He was good to the kids. The kids loved him. And the judge said, no, you can't move because he's their dad and he's a good person. And there's no reason that any of that should happen. But got to get what you want. But who was wanting that more? Was it Wendi, or was it Donna, or was it Charlie, or was it all of them, or was it just two of them that were going to take things into their own hands because they knew Wendi wasn't? I don't know. That's what the trial's all about. Donna's legal team is trying to paint this as a standard divorce between two well-educated professionals, no major custody battles, no claims of abuse, just a clean break. But prosecutors see it a little differently. They argue that the divorce set the stage for something much darker. The state had leaned on the divorce to establish a motive, framing it as a bitter battle over the children that may have fueled the murder plot. Donna's team, on the other hand, insists this is a false narrative, an attempt to inject drama where there was none. Or how do you think Donna would say it? Oh, it's just trying to inject. I'm gonna do it like this with her handcuffs on.
That was pretty good.
Handcuffs on.
Have you?
While trying to inject drama where there was none. Oh,
You've been working on that, haven't you?
I watched. We just put out a video of her whole thing in court the other day when she testified for about a full hour about how uncomfortable she was in court or in jail, which are just like kind of basic things. But it's like, and then they were going to give me a medical mattress pad, but they couldn't, so they got me a second mattress pad. And oh, the humanity! It's just. Like, and it turns out she's only like kind of half telling the truth about what was offered to her, because then on cross they go up and go, according to this medical record here, they offered you a shot for your sciatic nerve pain that you declined. Oh, I was actually going to play this back, but I'm having more fun reenacting Donna Adelson. And I'm just paraphrasing here. You can watch the full thing in that video. It's like an hour and a half long. It's what I did at 6 o'clock this morning. I got up to do that.
Wow. I need to get you out more often.
Oh, what am I reenacting here again? This is the what? This is
her turning down the injection for her sciatica.
Yeah. Wasn't it true, Miss Adelson, that you declined an injection for the sciatica? Well, what I did, I needed to talk to my doctor, and I talked to Harvey, and it was Harvey's idea to go to Vietnam. It was all Harvey. He's a sweetheart.
So she just interjected that there?
Well, that's a complete fabrication of the order in which any of it was received. That was what you call a dramatization.
Gotcha.
But
a little poetic.
The real thing? Oh my God. The real thing is pretty amazing too, quite honestly.
And, I will give her a little grace, just a little bit, because boy, if you stuck me in a jail cell for a week, I probably would be in the corner crying every single day. I don't think I could exist in such an atmosphere. I'm right now sitting in my chair. I have a heated blanket. It's 52 degrees outside, and I still have a heated blanket on me. I mean, I'm a puss. I get it, but prison would be hard.
Oh, I agree. I don't disagree that she's in hell and she's hating every minute of it. I'm just kind of laughing in a really evil, maniacal kind of way, because she is such.
Okay, though.
She is such the textbook definition of a covert narcissist.
Yeah.
That it's literally triggering watching this, because she's just so. It's about her and her comfort level. And she thinks like half of this stuff should be taken like an hour of court's time. And then when she gets caught on it on the other end, it's, I got it right here. Let's see. Let's watch some of Donna Adelson.
I knew you were going for it.
And let's take a look here. I'll make her a little bit bigger. Here we go. There's Donna. Oh, I gotta turn the volume up here.
Well, she just looks like she's in constant disbelief.
Or dislocation of your shoulder or arm.
Okay, it's still like an hour into her medical
just
discomforts. Let's get to some of the beef here. Hang on.
Ultimately, though, is that you were not trying to go to a country with.
Oh, here we go. This is great. Talking about the extradition.
That's what Dan said.
And let you know that there was no fracture or dislocation.
There was no fracture. That's what she told me.
Okay.
I didn't think it was a fracture.
Or
No
dislocation
fracture.
of your shoulder or arm.
No, there's just pain.
And they also went over your chest X-ray results with you to let
She's
you know
just
that
so
your chest
uncomfortably
X-ray appeared clear.
Yes.
frustrated.
You ultimately received the Band-Aid and Neosporin for the cut on your elbow.
Yes, I got that.
Let's see, what's my story?
It was Saturday.
Yeah, why do you have to
Get
think
that?
about that?
On Monday.
She's just her animation.
Okay, so
let me.
within a day or two of
Because
the
you have to
cut
throw your
occurring.
eyes back in the air to think about something.
And you said that if you are given a bond, you will reside in Tallahassee, you will follow court orders, but
Oh yeah, she wants to get out on bond, which is denied.
What had happened to Charlie,
Oh, here we go.
and he said, we need to just get some peace.
This is her talking about why they went to Vietnam
Shocked and
Or tried.
and trying to sell it to the court. Here we go.
in that jail
My
cell.
husband and I were literally shocked and traumatized at what had happened to Charlie. And he said, we need to just get some peace. We need to catch our breath. We're going to go away somewhere. And I thought it was a good idea because I couldn't think straight. I really couldn't think straight. I was so upset.
Let's go on a peaceful vacation to Vietnam.
It was his idea.
My
He said,
first
"Sweetheart,
choice of
let's go.
places."
Just get away. We're going to just get away somewhere so we could have some time to think.
Okay, so your testimony is that you weren't trying to go to Vietnam because you wouldn't be able to be extradited from there.
So my husband actually had said, you know, we've been to Vietnam before. We with friends. We were on vacation.
Rationalization.
And it really was like a place of peace.
Oh,
And
yes.
so he said, if we go to a non-extradition country, then if the law enforcement decided that they wanted to arrest you or me, or whatever, both, he said, we won't be sitting in a foreign prison waiting months to go back. We can buy a ticket and we can go home. And my understanding was that I could go home and I could turn myself in if that's what they wanted.
Okay. But you were hoping to make it out of America in time before you were arrested, right?
I wanted to get away. He wanted to get away. That's what we wanted to do. And it wasn't, we spoke to our attorneys. I asked them. They said there's no pending. We purposely called them to make sure it was legal to do it. And they said there's no, what were their words? There's no pending charges and there's no warrants. So you want to go. And so you ask your attorneys and they tell you that, I'm going.
But Dan did tell you, as you say in the jail call, that knowing what they're thinking up there, I don't know if you'll make it out in time. I really don't. But that he said you might, or you might get to the airport and they'll stop you. It could happen.
That's what he said.
Right. So you,
And you went anyway.
to the airport knowing that they could stop you at the airport. You could end up being arrested.
That's what Dan said.
Right. And when you were looking at places to go a couple of days after Charlie Adelson's trial, you were specifically looking, though, for countries that did not have extradition with the U.S.
For the reason I just told you.
Right. And the reason that you're saying that you were looking for countries with no extradition was so that you could get back faster in order to
So you get back
be arrested
faster.
in the U.S.
No, that's not what I said.
It's exactly what you said.
Because, I don't know, maybe we watch too much TV or too many movies, but I've seen movies where people are stuck in like third world prisons and waiting and waiting and waiting. And my feeling was, this is not what we want to happen. If the state says they want us to come back, we'll buy a ticket, we'll come back on our own terms. We don't have to be else somewhere. We'll come back home and turn ourselves in.
Pack on our own terms. Don't you love that?
Yeah, that's not how that works.
First, it's just if we get the warrant, then we'll just go to the airport and buy a ticket and come back and do whatever they want us to do. This is just, of course we will. Why would we not? If the U.S. comes beckoning for us, we will go. We will gladly return.
Wow.
Yeah, and she thinks people are going to just buy that. That's the fun part of these people that think like this. They're really genuinely shocked when you put them on the stand or put them under pressure or hold them accountable to their beliefs. And you point out just how absurd these excuses that they've told themselves in their minds over and over. This is going to be the excuse. And then when it's actually out there, the only person who it makes sense to is the narcissist. Oh. Oof. She is just troubling. She is very troubling.
Yeah.
If you think this legal wrangling over the paperwork is almost done, nope. A judge recently shut down Donna's request for bond as well, pointing to her attempt, to board that one-way international flight as a pretty strong indicator that she's not exactly eager to stick around for trial. Meanwhile, a separate hearing is on the horizon to determine whether Donna should be kept from seeing her grandchildren without supervision. So while her attorneys fight to keep the divorce file out of the courtroom, prosecutors will argue it's a key piece of the puzzle. This is going to be really interesting. That'd be a really hard one to explain to your grandkids. Maybe grandma just shouldn't be a part of their life right now, I'm thinking. Just why are we visiting grandma in prison? Well, because she's being charged with murdering your father. Daddy who went off to heaven. Yeah. Grandma might have paid him some of that money that she made at the lemonade stand to knock off your dad.
Boy.
Yeah, it's a lovely family we have here. It'll be interesting. Her trial's not that far off. So I'm wondering, remember, this was the one that was supposed to start late last year. And then suddenly they just discovered that there might be a conflict of interest with the attorneys. So they're not above last minute pulling something to delay this a little bit longer or do something. So I'm not holding my breath it's going to start on time, but I'm hoping that it does. But we shall see.
Craving non-stop true crime updates? Press subscribe now and get the latest cases, analysis, and expert commentary delivered straight to your feed, only from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today. She was the perfect wife, always smiling, always supportive, a pillar of the community, beloved by friends, adored by family, and secretly researching undetectable poisons in her spare time. Maybe it was the way he chewed. Maybe she just got bored. Or maybe, just maybe, she had been planning this since the honeymoon. But if he had just paid attention, if he had just known what to look for, if he had only subscribed to True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and learned the red flags, he could have heard every episode of Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi, ad-free, and before everyone else. He could have seen it coming. Instead, he's 6 feet under, and she's shopping for husband number 2. Don't be like him. Subscribe now to True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts.